Welcome everyone to SYFY's Day of the Dead panel for San Diego Comic-Con. I'm your moderator, SYFY digital writer and editor Caitlin Busch, and I'm so very excited to be joined by the cast and creators of SYFY's upcoming show, Day of the Dead. Please welcome our showrunners, Jed Elinoff and Scott Thomas.
Hello.
Director Steven Kostanski.
Hi.
Keenan Tracey, who plays Cam McDermott. And Natalie Malaika, who plays Lauren Howell. So, introducing the show a little bit, Day of the Dead follows a group of strangers trying to survive the first 24 hours of an undead invasion. This ode to George A. Romero's famous flesh eaters reminds us that sometimes all it takes to bring people together is a horde of hungry zombies trying to rip them apart, which is, of course, everyone's favorite way to spend a weekend. From Abbott Street Films and Cartel Entertainment, the series is 10 episodes and premieres in October on SYFY and in Canada on CTV SYFY channel, and was filmed in Vancouver, Canada. Jed and Scott, who we've already met here, serve as showrunners. Matt Drake is the executive producer for Abbott Street Films. Stan Spry, Jeff Holland, Drew Brown are executive producers on behalf of Cartel Entertainment, and Robert Duddleson, James Duddleson, Jordan Kizwani produce on behalf of High Tide Studios. Now, before we get into our undead discussion, we have a bit of a sneak peek to share with all of you, so we will all watch that together right now.
What's the one thing that we all have in common? We all die. Until this morning.
911, what's your emergency?
Yeah, I need to report it. What the hell do I call this?
Zombie apocalypse?
I'm not saying zombie apocalypse. They'll hang up on me. Hello? Hello?
Jesus Christ, they're everywhere!
They're
Eating our guests.
What a waste of $50,000.
Boys, let's move.
Hell yeah, Dad! Damn, I feel like Deadpool right now.
Hey, everyone.
What in the hell did you do to my peepaw?
Kiss my saggy.
What a day.
And that's it. I think it looks fantastic. Are you guys excited?
It looks amazing.
I'm
Cool
very
trailer.
excited. Now, the trailer kind of says it all. This is an ode to George Romero, the Godfather of Zombies. And it really, when we were talking about this before we started filming, we really talked about how this is the ultimate fan work. This is a true ode to George Romero. So what about his legacy is so enduring that you said, let's make a TV series about this?
Well, I mean, obviously he's, what Night of the Living Dead, I think was in '68, and we're still, every time zombies come up, we talk about Romero. He established what we know as the modern zombie now in Night of the Living Dead, and then in Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead and everything else, and he did it in a way that also added a social commentary. It spoke to the times that his movies were made. They're classics. I mean, every single zombie movie owes him. Every single zombie movie or TV show or graphic novel owes Romero for his legacy.
So when there was an opportunity to visit that, all of a sudden, I think you couldn't help but kind of feel two things. One is immense excitement at the opportunity to do something in that world. But the other side was a sense of responsibility because, we're taking on somebody's legacy and here's a chance to do something really special and you don't want to screw it up. So it's a balance, right? It's a balancing act because we want to make sure that it feels new and fresh and different and maybe like something he would do, but also something that we would do and that we would be excited to watch. And that was sort of the line we walked the entire time.
Yeah, and I mean, saying that obviously Romero is the godfather of zombies, everything from him going forward, but it adapts too. It changes, the rules change, and the rules in your own world that you've created, if I understand correctly, are kind of different from some of the other popular zombie series that we know.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's there have been a lot of zombie shows, a lot of zombie movies recently. And we really wanted to go, how do we make this feel different? How do we, but also I'm a huge horror fan, I've always loved horror. And I think we kind of took inspiration from a lot of moments in zombie history to go, how do we sort of present a zombie that maybe isn't on TV right now? We made a decision to go with slow zombies. They are slow zombies. We also wanted to go, this is not necessarily like an outbreak that just turns everyone into zombies. This is the dead coming back to life. So what is happening here is this is the dead crawling out of graves. This is the, dead in a morgue, the dead coming back, in a funeral home, the dead coming back, someone who's died in an accident on the street, they come back. This is really is the dead rising up on their feet and then coming to eat everyone. So we also we took away headshots. Headshots don't kill them. We felt like that was just becoming so easy that it was almost kind of a joke now, that just a zombie comes up and you just stab him in the head and he falls down. And, hey, that wasn't so bad.
Not bad.
Yeah. So
too easy to kill the dead usually.
Usually.
Yeah, we made it harder. We made it harder for these guys. We want Cam and Lauren to have it easy.
Y'all gotta work for that kill.
That's right.
So we definitely did want to we wanted to kind of switch up the rules a little bit. So headshots don't work. You've got to pretty much just destroy the entire body if you want these things to stop coming after you. And we kind of didn't worry about what bites do. We do have a little bit there. It's a little bit of a gray area with us for zombie bites if they turn, as Natalie can speak to, but if they turn you or they don't. But we sort of went, let's take bites off the table pretty much. And the thing you have to worry about is these are animals that want to murder you. So these are bears that want to tear you apart. This is that is the thing, because for me, that's the thing that's scary about zombies. It's not, oh man, he bit me and now I'm going to turn into one. I mean, that's horrible. It's that they want to rip you to shreds. They want to hit your body and rip all of your guts out and have a bunch of their friends come over and cover your guts, maybe while you're still alive. So
guts party.
Have a slumber party.
And then the fun of it was putting all the characters through their paces and sort of letting Keenan and Natalie kind of, for instance, just go, what would you do in that situation? And that's where it gets a little bit lighthearted. That's where it gets a little bit more, I think, hopefully a little more grounded, right? Because it's an absurd situation to be put in. I mean, they can attest to it.
Yeah, and I think it was cool, like you said, just seeing how real people would react. And I feel like in scary movies or thriller or horror a lot, you're seeing people in serious circumstance and you don't get the in-betweens. I mean, I feel like even in the hardest things I've ever gone through in my life, it was never the full day. Even if it was the full day minus 10 seconds, there was some 10 seconds in between at some point where there was a break in it and something was funny or it was funny for a second. I feel like you guys wrote that in really well, trying to find those moments, and then gave us the room to find them as well on the day with the performances.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting part, is that all of this chaos takes place in one day, and you see like the ups and the downs all in one day, like the chaos all in one day, and the lighthearted moments and the all of that. It's just like, it's a jam-packed day. It's a jam-packed day.
For me, the real story is Keenan's shorts from day one to 55 days later, wearing the same shorts in 5 seasons of Vancouver.
Oh yeah, September was great. September was hot. It was perfect. I had the best wardrobe on set. December.
By December, you were wearing a coat around your legs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you brought that up because the entire show the 10 episodes take place in like a 24-hour period, hence the name Day of the Dead. And we get to meet so many characters along the way. So, I mean, as you were looking at Romero's other work from the past, as you were taking inspiration from what he's done, where did y'all start, especially with the characters that you were adapting for this modern age?
Well, I mean, we did, as you said, we really took inspiration from the day of the title. We wanted to, I mean, first off, we didn't want to just like, go, let's just completely follow the beats of the movie and remake the movie, because he made the movie. It's amazing. It's like, why do that? We can't do it better. So what we did was we really tried to take inspiration from that and from Day of the Dead and go, what's a modern story that we can tell that feels like it lives in the world of Romero. And so we did, it all happens in one day. We also, we were sort of like every character has a big day planned today. It's a big day for everybody. There's an election for the town mayor. There's Natalie's character Lauren works at a funeral home, and she's sort of being given the opportunity to do like her first solo funeral without the boss there.
Pam had lawns to mow.
Pam has a lot of lawns.
Really important.
Very important job.
Technically, technically there's a big event going on. There's a big party going on that you're supposed to go to. You're just a bit of a social leper, and you're not going.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
In your cargo shorts.
Yes.
Cargo shorts.
I was very, very busy and occupied that
Fashionable.
day. Supposed to be.
That's right.
And so, there's a party. It's senior skip day that day. So all the high school kids are going down to the lake in the woods to have a party. And so there's everybody has a big day, not knowing that that the dead also are planning a big day, and they're going to ruin everyone else's day. So that was sort of the initial inspiration. And then we looked at characters from the movie, and we went, who what's a different way of presenting that character? What's a different, who would that person be today? And we like this idea of, we really wanted to expand it, get the story out of the bunker and expand it to this entire town, and sort of basically let the first season of the show be what leads to everyone sort of being in, having to be down that bunker. And in doing that, it was really fun to drop in little sort of scenes inspired by the movie, and little nods, little Easter eggs, little fun little things. And obviously we have Rhodes, who's as big and a jerk as he was in the movie. We've, McDermott is a character from a movie, and he's now a detective, still drinks too much, but and Cam is Keenan plays his son. Cam is Cam McDermott. We have Sarah, who was the sort of hero of Day of the Dead, is now Sarah Blackwood. And so we tried to work a little bit of social commentary into this. There's fracking that's going on in this small town that's divided the whole town. The political environment of this town is
split down the middle.
It's very split down the middle. It's very powerful. And so, we were having an election and as we were shooting, we were having an election in the US. And so we really tried to sort of show this town is divided, all these things. There's a lot of sort of sordid history to this town and people who haven't been treated very well. And so, but then the big thing we wanted to do was really go, how do we take those people who are all at odds, who are all from different walks of life, who have all different points of view, and then let the zombies be the enemy, and bring these people together to fight the zombies.
I think the other thing that you can't, we have to also really make a big note of is that, Steve, when he came on board and kind of said visually, how are we going to reference the Romero legacy? And I think that's 100% Steven, and I'd love, for you to talk about it a little bit.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, I really think the Romero movies have a very distinct style, and I think that the series definitely carries through a lot of elements from the original trilogy. especially. I remember like very early on us discussing like the look of the show and wanting to try and get away from sort of like the 28 Days Later kind of look of like kind of shaky handheld, and have have a well composed show that's like very cinematic feeling. And so yeah, it was really fun like developing that look and giving the movie like a unique flavor. Like it has a bit of like a Red Dawn vibe to it that I really like, and that was one of the things that really drew me to this project, was that I liked that it strayed from like what the original Day of the Dead was, which is a very like grungy, dark palette in a movie. Like in this mine, it's very dim and dingy, and we kind of bring it out into the day. And it was fun playing around with that. It was certainly a challenge to kind of be out in broad daylight and try to also be scary at the same time. So that was something that we really worked hard on, to try and find ways to create atmosphere in direct sunlight. But I think we did a lot of really fun things throughout the show to give it this interesting look that I think when people see it, they'll know that this is Day of the Dead and not some other zombie show.
The sort of fun of that was, I think, when it came to the zombie design and it comes to the kills and it comes to the gore, all that stuff, we really kind of tried to go from a super practical place and go, let's do it here in the room right now in front of us. And that way, that, which is not just a nod to Romero, but it's how he did it too, right? And I think that's what makes it feel authentic, and that's what makes it feel like we're not messing around. There's not like, we didn't get to fix a lot in post. It happened right in front of us. We all, at one point or another, every one of us got covered in blood.
There's blood everywhere.
Sometimes we
everywhere.
Sometimes we meant to. Sometimes we didn't. I mean, Natalie and Keenan were covered in blood throughout the entire thing. It was disgusting. We didn't want to be near them. It was awful.
Yeah,
I remember you wearing your poncho to avoid.
Oh my gosh. So you let your actors be covered in blood and you just refuse
That's what they get paid to do. That's what I sit in a dark room and type, and they get to covered in blood.
It's a glamorous
special effects, and then you're the off-camera.
Like, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah. He gets his Niagara Falls coat on, and then it just starts flowing.
That was hysterical.
I was the one going, more blood, more blood, more
Yeah,
blood. Again,
literally, Scott would be in there like, yeah, come on, let's do this.
Can I talk about the lawnmower? Can I talk about the lawnmower?
Of course you
can.
Of course.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I have a feeling I know where this is going.
Without saying too much, there's a part where somebody is driving a lawnmower and a former somebody gets hit by it as they're coming out of the ground. Spoiler, the somebody driving the thing is me. And there was this huge rig of blood hooked up to the back of the lawnmower that's supposed to come out the exhaust pipe as it gets run over. And it's hooked up. I'm facing the other way. Before we do the first one, I'm asking the effects guy, I'm like, hey, do I need like a cue? I'm looking the other way. Like, do you need to tell me when it happens? The lawnmower is pretty loud. I remember these guys going, oh, you'll know. Like, you'll know. And I definitely did. I definitely knew when it happened. It was a surprising amount of blood and guts and spaghetti and all this other stuff.
Your reactions to that in the take were real. So satisfying to watch.
It was real. I didn't expect that at all.
Blown away by what is coming out of that
it was shocking.
Yeah, I don't think of all the gross things that happen in this series, I don't think anything was grosser than going up to the effects guys and going like, what did you put in this? And they would be like, well, there's some lasagna, there's some cat food. There's
I don't know what was in this stuff. What was in?
We just went to catering and like threw a bunch of stuff in a bucket.
If I could talk about a specific gag, Natalie, there's that sequence where you're smashing a head in, and we just went to Kraft and got some bananas. And that's my go-to for brains, because you get a bit of color variance against the blood and it really pops. So yeah, you mash up some bananas, mix it with the fake blood, and it looks.
At least it doesn't smell bad.
Yeah.
Everything's sticky, which is gross. Everything's sticky. And then I felt like there was always somebody telling me, and I don't know if it was only me that was being told this, I was told which ones you could eat and which ones you couldn't eat. Like they were every time I would hear,
fake blood on
And
set.
you bet he did.
no,
Raise your
because
hand.
sometimes people are, have to
Eating
put it in their mouth.
organs, and so they
And-
make like gummy organs kind of things that they could actually eat and were safe to eat.
But I just
Yeah.
feel like Barry, the
Safe,
FX guy,
safe
was
to
always
eat,
coming
but
up.
not.
He was
but not
always coming up
appealing
and
to
he's like,
eat.
I'm like, oh, that looked great. He go, yeah, but don't eat it. And I was like, okay, I was never gonna.
Don't eat this one, Jed.
Yeah.
I
You know you're
remember-
starving.
Exactly.
I remember when Steven did that, but we didn't know he had done. We didn't know that this was a go-to. The bananas were go-to, and he just kept mumbling about bananas and saying things about bananas. And Jed and I looked at each other and were like, "Is he crazy? Like, has he completely snapped?"
He's gone bananas.
We had
Yeah,
we had
exactly.
no idea what he was
Gone
talking.
bananas.
Yeah,
my
bananas,
gosh.
pancakes are a good one too. For
right, they're
people
pancakes.
watching at home, you can use pancakes as well. Those are good for brains.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
that this is my first time actually asking that question as to what was in all the blood and guts and whatever.
Yeah,
Because
you were super game for somebody. You got that smeared all over you, and you really never said a single thing about
I
it.
never asked one time. I'm just thinking about that. Not one time did I ask. I was like,
Not
all
You were
right,
curious
let's
why I was
Not
making
great,
this
not
really
great
sad about
survival
week
instinct on
two.
your part.
Oh my God. No, I'm so happy that we got into the practical effects because I really wanted to get into that, especially with you, Steven, because I know that you directed The Void, which is a personal favorite of mine in terms of
Oh, thanks.
practical effects in modern cinema. I know that was a big deal in The Void as well. So, I mean,
yeah.
what did you learn bringing that and your other work into Day of the Dead and saying, well, let's put bananas in the fake blood?
Well, the best part of it was being able to work with Todd Masters, who his shop provided all the zombie effects for the show. I've been friends with Todd and worked for Todd over the past decade. So it was really great to work with him so closely on this. I mean, he's one of the greatest effects artists out there right now. He started in the 80s on stuff like Big Trouble in Little China and Predator. So like being able to work closely with him, like sit next to him sculpting zombie makeups and like getting his opinion, his expertise on stuff was just like, I know the term dream come true gets thrown around all the time, but it really was for me. It was like everything I wanted to be doing, directing a show, based off of a George Romero property, working with Todd Masters doing the effects. It's like, it doesn't get any better for me. It was fantastic. He brought so much expertise to the project, and it was also great to occasionally boss him around on set. Really made me feel good.
He also has a warehouse full of stuff, and so you're kind of like, man, we really need just like a dead person. And he would be like, well, how many dead people? And you start like get real, and you walk in and you just see that there are boxes, and they look like they're made for bodies. I don't know what they're actually made for, but they are stacked on top of each other as high as you can. It's like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, you kind of want to spoil that for anybody, but it's like a warehouse full of dead bodies, and you just pull them out, and he's like, oh, and they're all named, which is really creepy. And then you pull them out, and there's just naked dead bodies. And you go, okay, we'll put that one in that wardrobe and that one in that wardrobe. We're going to cover blood on that one. It is really unnerving. It's really
Charming.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's super charming.
But he got to the point because we kept asking like, hey, can we just get like an arm, or can we just get like something? And he goes, you know what? I'm just going to bring a big tub of like guts and body parts, and you guys just do whatever you want with them, And so we would just be like, we need half a jaw, and then just slap
Like,
it
I gotcha.
throw it out there. Yeah, we had it.
Always they had it.
I mean, thinking of all of the other work that you guys have done, I know no one here is stranger to horror or thrillers, especially after being covered in blood for 50 some days last year. But I am very curious to get into horror in general with y'all. Do you remember the first horror thing, a movie, a TV show, a book that you watched and that really stuck with you?
Should I start?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
I remember my friend of mine, his stepdad, when we were kids, got this pay-per-view box. Don't know if it was legal or not, but
It wasn't.
It definitely. And it wasn't like it wasn't on demand, so you had to wait for the movie to start and hope you started it at the right time. And I remember watching Scream. I think it was Scream 3. Which one starts with Drew Barrymore? Is that 3? That's 3.
No, that's the first one.
Number one.
Oh no, that's the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I guess it was 1. Scream 1. I remember seeing that, totally not supposed to be watching it in the middle of the day and being just as scared that his parents were going to come in and give us crap for watching it as I was the movie itself. But it felt like we were doing something we weren't supposed to, and we got away with it. And it was this like addicting high. I was like, whoa, that scary movie I was terrified to see I beat it, and it was like this thing I had conquered, and then I got hooked on other scary movies. I watched a whole bunch of movies from that time, like Hollow Man. These were all on that pay-per-view at the time, and I would see them out of sequence. I would see that last half an hour, and then the second half an hour, and then finally I'd see the beginning.
Man, you're like, what could have happened in Hollow Man?
That's exactly that's how the director intended it to be seen.
Yeah, you watch the middle and then the end and then the first and then the middle again.
Kevin Bacon looks great in that movie.
Kevin Bacon looks great in every movie.
Completely see through.
Yep.
Natalie, what about you?
Mine is probably Freddy versus Jason.
Nice.
My babysitter growing up, I think she just had this thing that she wanted to scare me. It was like her personal thing that she always wanted to scare me every time that she was babysitting me. So she would play scary movies. She made me watch Freddy versus Jason. And after that, she put me in the bathroom and like made me say Bloody Mary, that whole Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. And I think same thing as Keenan, like it was like my personal thing after that is that I wanted to like overcome this fear of like these movies and like this gore and scariness. So after that, like, I don't know, I just was so into scary movies. And even my mom was just like, why are you so into scary movies?
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? Why is that your thing? I'm like, I don't know. I think it was my babysitter. You can blame Marlena.
It seems like she was just making her own job harder.
Yeah, I think she enjoyed my reactions to being scared. So that was her entertainment for the weekend.
Oh my God.
It was good though.
No, I remember the like growing up, they would always play, you know, horror movies on TV, and they seemed like they always showed the Omen, just like they would show the Omen all the time. And my brothers and I really, like, every time it's on, we'd watch the Omen. And I have two older brothers. And then they were like, when I was a little kid, they'd go, hey, when you're asleep, we're going to come in with a Sharpie and we're going to write 666 on your forehead and you're going to go to hell.
Right.
Because it starts with the quote from the Bible about the mark of the beast. And they're like, you'll have the mark of the beast on you and you'll go to hell. And I was like, no, don't do that. Oh.
I'm already there.
Yeah. I'm your brother. I'm already in hell.
I gotta go. For me, it's one of those sleepover stories, but it was Friday the 13th Part 4, because I don't know, that was the first one I'd ever seen. I can't tell you. I mean, other than Corey Feldman being in it, and then for no reason bringing Jason back to life, they pull a piece of a
that's Part 6.
Yeah, it's Part 6.
Oh, sorry. I'm sitting 2 different things. But 4 is with Feldman, right? Feldman's in 4.
Well, Feldman's in 4. That's the final chapter. Then
that's the one I remember.
Then there's 5 where it's not.
Don't they bring Jason back to life in 4?
In 6.
They bring Jason back to life several times in that
4.
series.
Yeah, but Corey Feldman has a little cameo at the beginning of 6 where he.
Or no, it's 5. He has the cameo.
No, it's 5. You're right. It's 5.
Yeah, that they shot in his backyard, right? Where it's just him reacting to stuff. Yeah.
No Corey Feldman in 6.
Yeah. And so you were watching this at the slumber party, and I mean,
I don't know. You know, it's just like one of those things. It's a rite of passage, right? All that stuff. You go to a sleepover and you scare the crap out of yourselves watching some movie that you shouldn't be watching, and you know, it's exciting and it's terrifying and it's like, you know, I mean, it's one of the. Exactly. It's what everybody said. It's what everybody feels the same way about it. I think
it's a challenge.
Totally.
Yeah, I had an experience when I was a kid, being freaked out watching Demolition Man. So I had seen the movie before, but for some reason on whatever channel was playing it, it was like the uncut version. And so it was the scene where Wesley Snipes pulls out a guy's eye to use an eye scanner, and there's a shot of a door opening. He's standing there with an eye on a pencil. And it made me so nauseous as a kid. Like, it freaked me out so much that I actually started seeing like a black spiral. And I remember stumbling up to my parents' bedroom and being like, I don't feel good. And then I just blacked out and passed out on their bed. Because I just couldn't.
Man! And then you collapse.
Yeah. Couldn't handle Demolition Man. And I
actually remember being freaked out by the Terminator too, now that I think about it. The first Terminator.
The second one's freaky too. When
you're a kid, yeah.
X-Files guys liquidating under the door.
Yeah. Well, when he stabs the guy through the eye with his finger, that freaked me out.
Yeah, I'm actually talking about the first one because I'm like 1,000 years older than you guys, but that's the one.
First one's scary too. When he's goring his eye out.
That was
eye trauma. Eye trauma's bad.
Just the start of Schwarzenegger coming after you at home. Oh,
I mean, we're getting into a lot of different genres here too. What's the horror genre that scares you most, or that you're just it takes a lot for me to handle it? If anyone says zombies here, they're getting booted out.
Psychological ghost thrillers.
Ooh.
I'm not scared of the person that could come into your house because you're also a person in the house. What
That's
freaks
true.
me out more is like the things you can't control. The smoke that seeps through the crack in your window and materializes as the ghost of a child.
Oh my God.
That's terrifying to me.
So the unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I'd have to say supernatural horror also. It definitely, like, I feel like because I love like a creepy slow burn that just gets under your skin, and you know, just that sort of moment waiting for something to happen. When is it going to happen?
Suspense.
And or seeing some, like, you know, someone looks into the shadows and they freak out, and then you're looking, you're like, what do they see? What do they see? And then you realize there's someone there, and it's you know, it's it's just I love a good ghost story.
Paranormal stuff freak me out. Like when I see something where like an animal reacts to something that's not there, I'm like, I am out of here. I don't want any part of this.
Yeah.
I'm done. Animals see all.
Man,
Seems like we have a bit of a consensus.
I'm 100% home invasion on this. Like
Really?
people, real people outside my house stabbing me. That's like that's where
That
it
is
is.
it.
The rest of it's all fake. That's real.
I guess, yeah, the unknown really is like, that's a pretty like base terror that I think everyone has. Because for me, Blair Witch Project is the scariest movie because we'll never know what's happening at the end. Like we just have like a vague sense of what's going on, and you're not quite sure like who is doing the killing in it, and it's that not knowing that drives me nuts. And every time I watch it, it just unnerves me even more because you want answers and you can't have them. And so for a movie to commit to that, I think is it's really ballsy. So yeah, not necessarily to say found footage is the scary genre, but like that
Blair
manipulation.
Witch is scary. Blair Witch is legitimately scary.
But that manipulation of the unknown is the scariest thing.
It did such a good job of giving you enough of the pieces that then when you saw that last image, your mind had to put them together, and you scared yourself. You know, you were like, oh my God, that story that they told at the beginning, and then that's all happening right now, and it's just terrifying because
then you get to the dude in the corner, and then it's all over from there.
Yeah, it's like the best horror movies put it on the viewer to like make the terror, because
you fill the gap with your deepest fears.
Yeah, and you're stuck thinking about it, like laying in bed late at night, like wondering what was going on and what was really happening, and you just build
if it's
up
currently happening while you're laying in bed.
Yeah, like who's outside your house right now? Don't open the window because they're standing right there.
Like, but it's not. That's not at all what we do in Day of the Dead. So everything's
it's in your face.
I was gonna say we got into the supernatural. What you guys are dealing with is very practical, even though the dead are coming alive, which hopefully that's not, completely natural, I would hope, in our real world. But
according to our Wikipedia research, it's not.
Oh, okay. I'm feeling a little bit better about that.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not like like smart or anything, but that seems to be, according to a real base Google search, you're probably okay.
Bit of a stretch.
Not is also not currently.
That's true.
Oh, okay. So you're looking into the future here. I mean, getting back to what we're here to talk about in the first place. I mean, you guys have this zombie show coming out. You were creating another zombie show. You were signing up for a zombie show. Obviously, there's a lot of zombie stuff in the world. So what was your first impression upon the people who joined the project later? So I'm speaking to our actors here and our director. What was your first impression upon finding out about this show and getting to know it, getting to know your characters, all that good stuff?
For Lauren, I don't know. I found it pretty interesting. I think the mortician aspect of her, and then having to deal with the fact that she deals with the dead on a day-to-day, I found that very interesting. And then now there's this zombie apocalypse, and she's dealing with the dead again. So I feel like I found that she was like unfazed, kind of, I guess, by it. I think that was kind of the interesting part about that character. I don't know, everyone was just so unique. I think everyone brought something so different and so fresh. It's just like such a diverse group of people that come into this world. And I found that very fascinating. And how everyone reacts to this new world that we were in this one day.
Me, I find usually either by coincidence or maybe by looking selectively by accident, usually something ends up lining up with me and a character I'm playing, or ends up lining up, and it's like, oh, I really had this in common with this character all along, or whatever. Or maybe that's just me putting on it because that's what I'm supposed to be doing. But I think for this one, my moral lesson of the last few years I've been trying to help myself with is just go with the flow, and things. Not everything that happens is in your hands, even though it affects you. And I think that was kind of one of the morals of this character, was just thrust into all this, I keep almost swearing, stuff. And he kind of just has to roll with it, go with the punches. And I feel like he does the best when he just sort of lets go and lets whatever's happening happen. As far as the people we were working with, couldn't have been luckier. You guys were all great. This was the first thing I had worked on since things started up again. This was after 6 months of the deep freeze and just sitting waiting for this thing to kind of subside enough that we could all get back to work. So it was nice to get back on the horse and be doing it with cool people. And I felt like it made more of a team than things previously, because we were all, as well as being on a film together, we were all in this other thing together, trying to make a film together, trying to make a show together. And it was this sort of extra point of unity I found, and we all supported each other well.
The apocalypse ended so that you could start filming something for the apocalypse.
Exactly. What better time to make an end of the world series?
Yes. Then at the end,
there's lots of
about people contracting this thing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I got that email and it just said Day of the Dead on it, it was like a mixture of excitement and honestly a little skeptical just reading the subject, Day of the Dead. I was like, because my brain immediately thought like, oh, is this just going to be a straight remake? And then while there was excitement of like being able to kind of step into Romero's shoes a little bit and play around in his sandbox, I was scared that it was just going to be beat for beat what that movie was, which I don't think ever really works out. So like just reading that initial pilot script, I was excited because I felt like Jed and Scott took this like wildly different direction that still kept the spirit and the flavor of the original movie, that kept a lot of elements intact, turned some on their head, like just like it was engaging, and it just felt like fresh and fun in a way that I really wasn't expecting. I was like caught off guard by how much I enjoyed that script, and it really just got my mind working on like, oh, like how to like visualize this in a way that is like a part of Romero's legacy, still part of that universe, that zombie universe he's created, but also making something that's new and fresh that messes with the zombie mythology in a way that I think will grab audiences and have them engaged and wanting to know like what's going to happen next, because you know it's not the same Day of the Dead that they're familiar with. It's not the same rules they're familiar with. So yeah, that was really exciting to me. It was like a bold take that also appealed to like all of my sensibilities with all of its violence and mayhem, and just had like a lot of energy that comes with it being set in one day. It's like it's capitalizing on that initial outbreak pandemonium of a zombie outbreak, and doesn't settle into stuff that like, I'm not going to dunk on Walking Dead, but I mean, you know, it gets to a point where it's just like post-apocalyptic life. And I like the idea of a show that's just in that moment of like, this initial outbreak happens and all hell is breaking loose, and what do you do? And
the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're at ground zero of this apocalyptic event, and that really excited me. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we wanted to, you know, we wanted to just very quickly, we wanted this to have social commentary, to have characters that you care about, to have you really try to ground it and show how people would react. Everyone would react differently to this going on. Some aren't going to believe it. Some are going to be freaked out by it. Some are going to, huddle in a, just cower in a corner. Some are going to turn into, action stars and start kicking butt. But we also wanted it to be, gory and scary, but we also wanted to be fun. We really wanted to give everybody a series that they would really enjoy watching. And so there is humor in there. It all comes out of the characters and how they're reacting and who these characters are. But we wanted it to be a really fun series to watch. It just felt like after the past year and everything else that was on TV, it was so dark and serious and dour and depressing. We were just like, let's make a show it's not, it doesn't go, it's not comedy like Zombieland, but it's fun.
Yeah, I think, look, when you have an opportunity to make something that is inspired by somebody else, somebody that you really admire's work, you really, it was a chance to just kind of go, let's just go for it, do what we think he would like, something we think he would be proud of, but that we are proud of and we love, and we think that is a worthy thing to sort of be inspired by his work. I mean, that was really, really, really important, and I think we did it. I really feel very good about it. And I hope people like it, because I'm immensely proud of the work that everybody did to make it something really special.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's the absolute perfect note to end on. And then we can say that the show comes out in October on SYFY, and I can't wait for the world to see it. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I am, again, really excited to see how everyone reacts to this, as I keep saying, ultimate fan work that you guys have created here. So thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Caitlin.